Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo,
Hello, everyone. I hope you're well. We're going to begin our session. So, thank you very much for joining us. My name is Frida Butale, and I'll be presiding over today's meeting. So, for our topic today, we'll be discussing the Actuate Nairobi Summit. And we've given this opportunity to one of the Actuate community members, Mr. Silas, who will be discussing the Actuate Nairobi Summit. So on our agenda today, we'll have the topic presentation by Mr. Silas, and then next we'll have a Q&A session, and then we'll get some additional comments from Daktari and some web updates from Grace Njeri, and we'll conclude the meeting after that. So thank you again for joining us, and let me see. Mr. Nguya, are you present? I think you need to enable your mic so that you can be able to speak. Hello, Silas. Something to note as you're joining these meetings, if you want to maybe present or you want to speak during the meeting, on your web browser, you first need to have enabled your microphone. And then something else is that as you click that link and join the meeting, you do not need to click on the microphone icon. You are automatically muted when you join the meeting. So because when you do that, you are unmuting yourself, and maybe you have some secrets there, and we don't want to hear them. So I don't know, Mr. Ngui, are you ready? We can't hear you.
Silas, you need to allow your microphone to access, you need to allow Zoom to access your microphone. So maybe you can tap on the three buttons on your toolbar.
Yeah, allow notification so that you can see that notification for microphone.
Yeah, then you can be able to, because most people don't have the audio, the microphone button on their side because they haven't allowed the microphone. So you need to do that.
Yeah, now you can unmute and try speaking. As I've said, as you're joining these meetings, please try not to unmute yourself. Uh-huh.
What is he not? Let's see, maybe I'm still muted.
We can hear you, Doc. Hello.
Oh yeah. He you know what happens in this situation is that most likely his pop-up windows are disabled. You see, if you disable your pop-up window, which is on your browser, and then you're not going to get a pop-up saying allow microphone, allow video. So because he doesn't get those pop-up windows, just because his pop-up windows are disabled on his Chrome browser, I imagine it's Chrome, something like that. Yeah, so Google Chrome, I think even the Firefox also it just automatically disables pop-ups. Yeah, so when the pop-ups are disabled, you don't get
Yeah,
that
click
mess.
unmute. Click unmute. Don't stay muted.
Unmute. Okay. Mhm. So you can see your screen.
Yeah, I can see his screen, but
It's
unmute
not streaming.
yourself.
It's not streaming sound. You can see this.
Yeah,
It's muted.
yeah.
So
Scroll down and then on your left, waits written audio. On the bottom left, very bottom left where it's written audio, you click that and then you unmute. I don't know, Mr. Silas, can you hear me? Bottom left, bottom left, bottom, very bottom.
maybe he also can't hear. He doesn't have any audio. You maybe call him directly by phone.
Yeah, let me try to call him.
Yeah. Or WhatsApp, because I think he's not hearing what you're saying. I mean, this is peculiar to Zoom. Did we have such problems with Google Meet?
No, we didn't have such problems with Google Meet.
Yeah, it's all these companies fighting each other. So Google Meet, because Google Meet is made by Google, they don't do that for the customers. But now Zoom has to be taught a lesson. Yeah, because additional step. But see, well, I would say Zoom is also responsible because it says that you have to allow your mic in Zoom to access your microphone.
Yeah. I think he's back. Let's see if he'll be able to do it.
I think let me try explaining to him here because he's not picking calls. So I think he should go back when he's sharing his screen. There is that on the toolbar. There are these dots after where we have the app. Yes. Now allow the sound permission, which is not, it's turned off. Can you turn it on? Yes. So that way, and make sure that you allow the microphone, which is the sound automatic and default. Then you can go to.
Yeah, there. It's saying your browser is preventing access to your microphone.
Yeah, it's because that the browser itself said, what's it, Chrome?
When you click that.
Celeste, you can go back to the dots up there. Then go to settings. And check if the microphone is also allowed the other side. The microphone is the third one. I don't know, check what the permission is. Allow, yes.
Yeah.
So that you can be able to comment. And everyone, I hope everyone is learning because we've had this issue the whole week from Monday.
Wow, yes.
So after that, you can go back to the meeting and then you try to unmute. I think it's going to work. If it doesn't work, then I think it's the browser.
Could you check the audio options?
Well, But does the microphone regularly work? Other times, or maybe his microphone has. Another way to do this is to access the meeting on the phone, because we know the phone microphone works.
Yeah, I think he wants to do that so that he can make a presentation. He has a PowerPoint.
I'm saying that you can do the PowerPoint, you're moving it, but you're talking through the phone.
Okay. I don't know if he has the app.
Well, the app is not for sale, it just downloads it.
Yeah.
So getting it, because you can have a microphone inside computer which is down or dysfunctional, then you can use the computer to show the PowerPoint, but the phone for talking. And if the microphone is not working, you are not even going to have echo by being on two devices, because the phone is automatically muted. Well, some serious trouble here.
Yeah, let's say join audio by computer.
Yes, and if it's the browser problem, you can try just a different browser. So like Firefox, because I suspect this is a Chrome browser which is doing this. Could you tell whether it's Chrome?
Yeah, it's a browser. It says your browser is preventing access to your microphone.
It's Chrome, yeah. It's in the browser settings. The same way you went to Zoom settings, you have to go to browser settings but it's a browser based. Browser usually creates a pop-up window immediately when you join the meeting, asking whether you want to allow. So it must be the pop-ups are blocked. If we didn't see a pop-up, it means that he has actually blocked pop-ups on his browser.
Click that button, join audio by computer, and let's see if it will work.
Yeah, the browser has to allow it to stream to access the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah. Which means if it comes with a very fast instance, when you log into the meeting, ask you, do you allow? And you say allow. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
click that. Yeah, click that one, that option, which is checked. Mute my microphone, no? Uncheck that one and then, yeah, click that one. Let's see. Okay.
Well, let me tell you guys, it won't work until he gets a browser to allow browser permissions. You can open Zoom meeting with a different browser, or he can go to the browser itself, the browser settings. First of all, allow those pop-ups.
Yeah, or we can do just as we said, he can try joining with his phone and then sharing the screen with the laptop.
So what is he doing now? Because he can't talk. Can he type?
He has stopped sharing his screen, so I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah. So, but we can start talking about the summit, and I think what the summit is updates. People know about the summit. We have talked about it so much now, so for quite a number of months. So I think what's most relevant to do is to update people where we are today. And as Silas is working his computer, but basically Silas What you need to do is find your browser settings, browsers themselves, not Zoom, browser settings, browser notifications. I suspect that your browser notifications are off. And you see people to put off notifications because notifications can be annoying. But there are certain secret notifications when you go to have meetings like this, so that I think you could select what kind of notifications to get from the browser. It's like that when you enable that, every time you go to a new application that requires to access certain things like microphone or your speakers, you always get a notification asking you to allow. That is a problem, that you are not getting that notification asking you to allow because your notification settings are off. Yeah. Now let's talk about the summit itself. I think in terms of the summit, there are 4 distinct things that we want to learn about the updates. Thing number 1 is the speakers. How are the speakers? How are we doing in terms of getting the speakers to come? Thing number 2 is poster presentations. How are we doing in terms of the poster presentations? And thing number 3 is workshops. How are we doing in terms of the workshops that we propose for the summit? And thing number 4 is sponsorships. Okay. And so, and these things, remember, we're doing all these things in the service of the summit. Now, that is now the summit itself on the ground. So the summit on the ground will have speakers. Speakers are known as podium presenters. And they present in a plenary hall, one big room, maybe seated with around 500 people listening, like the pontiff. So the pontiff talking down to the people from a podium. So those are podium presentations. We have created room for about 64 podium presentations. Okay, 64 podium presentations. And these podium presentations are going to be in, you could say, in all disciplines that are related to health production. Health, as you know, what we've been following, we come from the principle of One Health. One Health is the health of animals in relation to human health, and then the environmental health, the health of the environment in relation to human health, and then the health of the human being in relation to human health. Okay, so you can see when you look at that, that covers the entire spectrum of knowledge, from 0 knowledge to 100% knowledge, like the entire spectrum, because it covers not only the discipline of food and nutrition, because food and nutrition is what provides health in your body. So we want, and you see, food comes from agriculture. So we want people to come and talk to us, to talk to people about innovations in agriculture. And these innovations, and this is the kicker, the conference is not just about innovation in agriculture, is how decentralized finance and artificial intelligence is being used in innovations in agriculture, farming, whether it is just physical cropping all the way to mechanical engineering or agricultural engineering, farm equipment and all that. Yeah, so that is agriculture itself, and that relates to food. So we still have a room for about 10 speakers, podium speakers in that docket, agriculture. And then the second one is about nutrition. Nutrition is about food science, food processing. After the food has been harvested, it has come out of the garden. It is now in the market, it needs to be processed. So we want people who can present food processing companies. And there's lots of them, all the way from fruits to grains to millets to everything, food processing. Yeah, that is for human health. And of course, then there's a human health from the clinical medicine, biology, human biology. And also, we want them to come and talk to people about their work in biologicals, and biomedicine, in relation to decentralized finance and artificial intelligence. Okay, and so then we have animal health, which is, again, animal health is also a big deal because animal health ranges from just veterinary medicine, the health of the animals, to zoonotic diseases affecting animals. And all that, we see how can we use blockchain and artificial intelligence to understand these technologies. What are innovations? We want innovations in animal health. And so we also have maybe about 10 spots for those people in animal health. And then we want to get people in environmental health. And environmental health is also a very broad spectrum, because environment, as we have said, we have the living environment, which has got places where people play, learn, work, and people play, learn and work, and live. And then that's the built environment. And we want to see how people are using decentralized finance and artificial intelligence to improve the built environment, which Mr. Ruto is talking about in a big deal today, but it has no DeFi, decentralized finance. So how can we use decentralized finance to make living habitat even better? And then environment also has the non-built environment, which has got trees and wildlife, and also the domestic animals environment. So you can see that's big, broad spectrum. Of course, so these are the things. And then from that, you can see those are speakers. And then we have the poster presentations. Anything you're doing right now, whether in a college or you're in a university, you're doing research, you can make a poster. And so we expect all the people in Actuate Nation to participate in poster presentations, because these posters, not only are they going to show up at the summit in Nairobi, they will be shown everywhere in the world through the web, through the World Wide Web. And this is going to help you to build your career. In fact, during the poster presentations, we shall have competition, people voting for the poster. So the winning posters, there's going to be about 3 winners, and there's going to be criteria for the winning. So you have between now and December to craft a very, very convincing, compelling poster about your idea. That's how you like your idea about innovation in your field of practice. That innovation has to showcase how you will leverage decentralized finance and artificial intelligence to make new good things for human beings, to improve life of humans. So these are posters. Then you can also do a workshop for those people who love teaching people. You can have a workshop, and workshop would be a breakout room that you would set a breakout room for you. This is how you promote your career, to show people that you are a master of your career, where you can teach people about what you do. Already we have workshops booked for like mental health workshop, psychiatry workshop. We have a psychiatrist who said she's going to conduct a mental health workshop. Okay, and for 4 days. That means that because it's a psychiatric workshop, mental health, and even have mental health clinics there. So that is already there taken, and you can participate in that one, or you can also propose your own workshop, and you see how we're going to create room for you to have a workshop. Number 2, cancer workshop is already booked and taken. And you see cancer affects all kinds of organs. So we're going to have this one, I think it's just women, cancers in women, breast cancer and cervical cancer. So that one is already booked. There's going to be, and then we have a dentist. There's going to be dental workshop. I think we don't talk about dentistry enough, because many young people don't have dental problem until a few decades later, they start losing teeth, primarily because of drinking beer. Okay, so there's going to be a dental workshop. So this is what I'm saying. These things are building up. Now it's your time to take turn and say to participate in workshop to make posters. That's not going to cost you money. In fact, it is likely to put money in your pocket. Because if you're going to do a workshop or you're going to do a poster presentation, people will come as presenters, they don't pay for meetings. And they get to enjoy all the perquisites of the meetings without having paid a cent, but because they have paid with their work. That's known as sweat equity. But then we have sponsorships.
Daktari,
Yeah.
I think Mr. Guya is ready. He
Okay,
just
let
said
me
he's ready. I hope he's ready in a few minutes.
one sentence. This is the final thing. I told you the four things. The fourth thing is sponsorship. Is now a denizen of Actuate Nation. You have big opportunity to find sponsors. There's no limited number of sponsors that can come into the conference. No limit. And so this, as you've heard, these sponsors would come from the entire spectrum of business, the business world, with ranging from agriculture, farming, to food science, to animal health, to environmental health, to engineering, to telecommunications, anyone. I'm telling of companies like telecommunications, people like Safaricom, Airtel, people like that. When it comes to engineering companies, tractor manufacturers, car manufacturers, pickup, food processing people, when you talk about medicines, pharmaceutical companies, all of those people, because everybody in the world requires health. It's about our ability to produce health as individuals. You see, health is similar to economics. Health and money are almost equal to one thing. So, like, people are protesting for budget today in Kenya. They are protesting because money affects every single individual. So health also affects every single individual. Health is about life, which is money. But what is the secret here? Money and health are interrelated. Money and health, having money in the pockets is a primary determinant of your health outcomes. So this protest you're fighting in Nairobi, in Kenya, not just Nairobi, the whole of the country, are related, or you could say they are the same as the protest for health. Okay, so Mr. Silas, yeah, welcome. Mr. Goya, is it Mr. Goya? Do you have audio now? So Barbara, you said that he is back.
Yes, Doc.
Okay, he's not audible.
Silas, you can continue.
He needs an external mic. He has earphones. If he has earphones, he just needs to plug them. They'll play. It could be the microphone or his laptop itself.
I think
There is sound. Was that Silas?
Yes, it was him. I think he can be able to speak now. Hi,
All right.
Mr. Silas.
Hey, how are you?
I'm very fine.
Good evening to everyone. My apologies for the technical issues I had over the microphone. I had issues with the drivers. I beg your my apologies to the team.
You're welcome.
It's okay.
Welcome to the audible world.
This is called opportunity. We've struggled until we're not here. You can be able to speak.
Yes.
So I hope I'm going to use your slide for the purposes of our presentation.
Okay. You hope, or you're going to do it?
Yeah, Barbara would
I
do
hope
it.
it will be successful. So maybe just give me 10 minutes of your time so that I go through the presentation of the overview of the Actuate pre-Boston Nairobi Summit.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Sila.
So the title for the Actuate pre-Boston Nairobi Summit for the date of 3rd to 6th of December, the theme is leveraging blockchain and decentralized finance to enhance global health and human development. So so what is the purpose? The purpose is addressing pressing global challenges and pioneer innovative approaches for sustainable progress in health and human development. During this summit, some of the key topics are going to be significance of decentralized finance in reshaping financial systems and the intersection of health and human development, then the role of blockchain technology in promoting health. So what is the importance and benefit of the Nairobi Summit? So there is the catalyst for innovation. Under that, we are going to go through cross-disciplinary dialogue among stakeholders from finance, healthcare, and also technology. Next. Do we also have benefits for the attendees during this conference? So one of them is networking. We're also going to have insights on Boston Premier Summit. And then third, learning about the Actuate initiatives. Under networking, we are going to have opportunities for collaboration in healthcare access, environmental sustainability, and mental health awareness. Also about the insights on the Boston Premier Summit, we are going to understand the upcoming, please go back to the initial slide. We are also going to have the understanding of the upcoming summit in July 2025 in Boston. I think you should go a little bit slow on the slides because I'm also using them on my end. So we are talking about the benefits for the attendees, and the second benefit I was talking about the insight on Boston Premier Summit. So where there is the understanding the upcoming summit in July 2025 in Boston, then the role of local nationals in global health in advanced care. Then the third benefit is learning about actual initiatives. So the advancements in critical areas, including health and environment, mental health, and many more. Next slide, please.
Oh, audio not good. I mean, I think this must be the connection, internet.
Yeah, I
You
think
can't
you
hear
have
Mr.
bad,
Sila.
you have bad connection. Zoom throws you out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
as a bandwidth. He talked about networking. Yeah, by the way, all summits or conferences or conventions are created for the purpose of networking. So what is networking? Networking. Those are two words combined to make one word. Networking. To network is to do three things. to meet new people. Number one. Second, to discover what those people are doing. And third, to explain to those people what you are doing so that they may do what? So that they may buy your services. Okay? So the end goal is to get somebody to buy your services. So networking is a sales process. For those who do not know, human beings have given the divine command to sell themselves. Not to sell your body or your soul, but to sell your work, the product of your labor. That is the only command given to you as a human being. Learn how to sell your labor. And when you sell your labor, people are going to pay you the value of your labor. So that's what networking is all about. So networking is not a meet and greet. They come and say, hey, hello, how are you doing? Okay, see you later. No. You want to do, when you are coming to the summit, you want to be prepared to make a pitch. Making a pitch is a sales pitch. You're going to pitch yourself. In ordinary world, we call it like a dating service when people go to date so that they can come out with a spouse. All right? Yeah, that's a bad example, but that's the way it is. People create dating services so you get opportunity to meet people so you could get a spouse. Now, in conferences, you're not looking for a spouse. You're looking for somebody who can who can pay for the value of your work. That's very important. Networking is equal to your own economic progress. That's why you want to take these things very seriously. I have seen, and I want to tell you that, say, in Kenya, people don't understand that in conferences, voice conferences are created for that idea of networking. We don't know it. I've attended very, very many conferences in Kenya, and I tell you what people do, which is very opposite of what these summits and conferences are built. What people do, if I know I'm coming to present, I'm talking about professional people, doctors, architects, engineers, lawyers. They tell you that you'll be speaking at 1 p.m. When you know that you're speaking at 1 p.m., you plan to arrive at the summit at 12:30, maybe 12:45, because you're speaking at 1. Then give your talk at 1. Then by 1:20, you're out of there to go back to your work. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exceedingly stupid. I can tell you that. It's very silly. But we have a culture like that, which is found to be quite funny, because when you come to the conference and speak for your time, 1 hour, and then you leave, who do you think you are talking to? And what makes them sit down to listen to you if you cannot sit down and listen to them? See? Particularly now, what's called professional groups, like engineers, lawyers, doctors. They just come the time they're speaking and then they go away. And then, because they don't want to listen to other people, that is something called self-righteousness. Okay, some self-righteousness. So we have a disease of self-righteousness. I think that whatever I'm saying is the most important, and I don't want to know what other people are doing. So you see, that's the first degree of failure in networking, because people are going to notice that. And in fact, if you come to the meeting, talk to them, and then you're in a hurry to go and do other things. I don't know what other things that you're going to do, but that's what people do. They just come to the meeting in their own time, they speak, and then they go. Yeah. So in most of the successful meetings in Nairobi itself are those meetings with foreigners. Because the foreigners, supposing the foreigners, you have an international meeting, you get guys from Tanzania, others from South Africa, others from Nigeria. They don't have a home to go to. They're not going to Geshagi to look after the cows. So they have to sit down through the entire conference, which is the way it's supposed to be. But Kenyans themselves, who even organize the meeting, even the organizers, they just show up the time they're supposed to speak and then go away. Now, for all you Gen Zs, you don't want that type of behavior. Don't learn that type of behavior from the millennials and the older generations, because that's what they have been doing. That makes professional work very difficult. When you find these scientific ideas not taking roots in the country, it's because of that behavior. We have not understood what is networking. So networking requires patience. First of all, it's not about you, it's about the others that you're going to meet in the summit. So when you get there on time in the very first day of registration. Listen to the presentations, then go out to the exhibits, watch all the exhibits. And then when you watch those, ask questions from those people. That's where you learn what other people are doing and what technologies you can use with them. And then by asking questions, meeting people, you explain yourselves. And in fact, what I've seen people doing in this type of conferences, first of all, they print a whole bunch of business cards, like say 1,000 business cards. Don't go to the conference without business cards. And then for those who are young, they're looking for jobs, they print 1,000 copies of resume, 1 page of your resume, of your profile, just a resume, your profile information, and then you have them in your bag. So everybody you meet, give them your business card and your resume, even if you're not looking for a job. That's what networking is about. Give the people your resume because they are there. And in fact, it's going to be part of the conference material they're collecting. If you have something written about yourself, just like your LinkedIn profile, it's going to read it, and then it's on a piece of paper, and then he can decide to discard it. But actually, that time he hasn't. A lot of people, when they come from conferences, they usually have the conference bag, and they have that material with the business cards. They collect, and then they can follow up with them. So don't go empty-handed to the meeting. So networking, meaning that you're going for a harvest. First of all, you're going to sell. You're going to sell yourself. And in that networking, you find people who can buy what you're selling. And what you're selling is your skills, your knowledge, and you're going to selling your value. And when you sell that value, you may get paid right away. Get hired by someone just in that meeting. A lot of people find jobs in the conferences. Even if you're not looking for a job, but you're looking for collaborations. That's the second thing. If you're a professional person, say like you're professional, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you are a dentist, you're looking for collaborators, people you can work with. That's why it's very good to go with your written out summary, like small biographical sketch with your business card. Then you can hand it over to whoever you're talking to, whoever you meet. Don't be shy. When you start talking to the person, he asks you, he tell you what is your name. Then, because you have an African name, well, the name is not like Charles or David, which is easy to say. You say, I'll make it easy for you. I have my name written out on this piece of paper, and I want you to read it so you can know how to call me well. Because if I say, like I say, my name is Masharia, then someone will say who? How do you spell that? Then instead of me trying to spell the name for him, I give him a piece of paper or a business card. But a business card is not enough. It does not describe myself enough. So I give him a full A4 size paper, which has got my biographical sketch. Okay. So that is how you meet people. It's not about just meeting and greeting and shaking hands. It's about leaving a document with that person. And if you have printed out 1,000 resumes, make sure that by the time you leave that meeting, you have distributed those 1,000 documents. So they know you. Okay? That is how people are going to, just the same thing as when you're on the social media, you are sharing your profile with hundreds of people. In a summit, you want to share your profile with hundreds of people. Okay, but don't also go to the summit and just sit down, just listen, and then go home. So you miss the whole point. The point is to network. That means working to create a net. What's a net? A net's a web, like a web that has got multiple points of connection. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to add there. So, Mr. Silas, are you back? Okay.
Yeah, he dropped off. So I think maybe Barbara, you can continue with your presentation. Hello, Barbara.
Yes, Frida, I think we can maybe proceed because of time. We cannot continue waiting.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, Barbara.
The role of DeFi and blockchain for sustainable One Health. I hope I can be heard without echo and all that.
It's no echo.
Oh, thank you very much. So we have said that DeFi, which is decentralized finance, and blockchain technology hold immense potential in advancing sustainable One Health, which also emphasizes the interconnectedness of human, animal, and environmental health. And with that being said, when we leverage blockchain's transparency, immutability, and decentralization, DeFi platforms will facilitate the creation of the health risk pools, enabling individuals to access healthcare and mitigate financial risks associated with illness or injury. Additionally, the use of DeFi protocols for providing liquidity and earning passive income through tokenized incentives will mobilize resources to finance health access initiatives and promote equitable healthcare delivery, which is the main or the basic role of the DeFi and blockchain in sustainable One Health. So I'll move to the next slide. Confronting the global burden of disease. And the key challenges here are the infectious diseases, which is malaria, TB, HIV, COVID-19. I'm not so sure if we still have COVID-19, but maybe yes, we have the flu. And then the non-communicable diseases, which we have cancer, diabetes, and I think now we have mental health as a non-communicable disease. And then lastly, we have disabilities and risk factors, which include poor nutrition, inadequate sanitation, and environmental pollution. And then I also want to add that at the heart of the Actuate Nairobi Summit lies the sobering reality of the global burden of disease. And we are aiming to elucidate the magnitude of this challenge at the summit, which encompasses a myriad of health conditions, as I mentioned. We have disabilities, we have risk factors that afflict populations worldwide. And then that ranges from infectious diseases to non-communicable ailments, the relentless assault on human demands, and the urgent attention and concerted action. And then the global burden of disease, maybe some of us are wondering what that is a challenge that encompasses a wide array of health conditions, disabilities, and risk factors affecting populations worldwide. And it also represents the cumulative impact of diseases, injuries, and other health-related issues on individuals and societies. And it also highlights the pervasive nature of health challenges across the globe. And then, of course, the summit's focus is on setting priorities, which is identifying key health challenges and targets, mobilizing resources through the creation of liquidity pools, promoting collaboration. That this is through the partnerships and the abstracts you people will be sending in so that you can be able to speak at the summit. And then we also want to advance in research, and this includes innovations in treatment and healthcare solutions. And lastly, we want to strengthen the healthcare systems in Kenya by improving access and resilience. Navigating Africans' population boom and the healthcare dilemmas, we have the key issues which include population growth, unequal distribution of resources, and then opportunities for innovation. And you see, with population growth arises issues like the strain in healthcare, because we have a lot of population, and maybe the medical services provided in a country cannot cater for the entire population. And then when you have an equal distribution of resources where we have the rural and urban areas not getting the same amount of allocation, especially from the national government or the county government. And then opportunities for innovation include telemedicine, mobile health solutions, and other innovations by AI and other softwares. And then when we talk about the strain on healthcare systems, the population of Africa is projected to double by 2050, which means the healthcare systems will be facing unprecedented strain. And the rapid population growth will exacerbate the existing challenges such as limited infrastructure, shortages of healthcare workers, and inadequate funding. And then as the demand for healthcare services surges, healthcare facilities may become overwhelmed, leading to longer wait times, decreased quality of care, like I said, and increased morbidity and mortality rates. And then we have the strategies for the summit. I hope everyone can see the screen. The first one is policy formulation, and this includes the advocacy for healthcare funding and infrastructure. The second one, we have the investment in infrastructure, which is basing on building and upgrading the healthcare facilities. The third one is innovative delivery models, which include telemedicine and the mobile clinics. And then we have the training and capacity building of healthcare workers and their training programs. The last one is the prevention healthcare for the vaccination programs, the health educations, and promoting healthy lifestyles. And then the economic ramifications of population growth. We have challenges and the solutions that will be provided by the summit. And the key challenge is unemployment, which is facing a lot of young people in Kenya, to be specific. And then everyone is trying to look for a job or an activity that is going to keep them busy. That is why you find that most young people are against or rejecting the finance bill because it doesn't favor their needs. And then we also have another challenge, which is the youth employment and the need for inclusive growth. And when we talk about the summit in December, we are going to seek solutions to those challenges that have been mentioned above. And the first one is empowering the youth with skill development and training, and incentivizing them with Actuate tokens, which we are already doing using the faucets that we already have. On Monday, we incentivize learners for participating in environmental programs. On Tuesday, we incentivize learners for participating in biomedical translation and African women in DeFi. On Wednesday, we empower you with your mental health. On Thursday, we do the health axis. On Friday, we do the STEM, which is the science and tech. And then on Saturdays, we incentivize you for attending the blockchain classes. We also want to promote the job creation by incentivizing for businesses and entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs, and then supporting SMEs, which are the token-based funding for small enterprises. And then we also want to invest in infrastructure by incentivizing for critical infrastructure projects. And then the gender equality, promoting gender diversity in matters finance. And we are doing this through the Tuesday program for African women in DeFi. Key questions you want to ask yourself is health risk pooling and how DeFi applications for health insurance are going to work on the blockchain. And then the physical health access, how DeFi support for telemedicine and health services is going to work. The quality of healthcare and the knowledge and commercialization, the STEM and the biomedical knowledge translation. And then DeFi funding for local health innovations in Africa and beyond. Participants of the summit and their contributions, we have the health and human development community. These are the global health practitioners that are going to shape the health policies and advocate for marginalized populations. The second group is the public health professionals who are going to implement population level interventions. The third one is the clinical providers who are going to deliver medical services and improve care quality. The fourth category is of the medical researchers who are going to develop innovative therapies and technologies necessary for healthcare and knowledge translation. The DeFi community is also going to include the software engineers and innovators. These are going to develop blockchain solutions for healthcare. DeFi for health, who are going to expand health access and improve care quality using the decentralized finance model, and the knowledge translation team that is going to create practical DeFi applications for healthcare in Africa. And then we have the call for presenters at Actuate Nairobi Premier Summit. And we have a document on LinkedIn that talks about the call for presenters, and I'll be sharing the link shortly so that you can go through it and understand what you need to get from the document. And then who can speak at the summit? We have the Actuate Nation members who are going to share their projects and research on DeFi and blockchain in healthcare. We have the blockchain application builders who are going to present decentralized finance applications for health access, quality, and affordability. And then we're also going to have the healthcare professionals, and they're going to articulate technological advancements that are needed in healthcare. Engaging healthcare professionals and empowering voices for change includes voicing the wish list, and this includes improving access, enhancing the quality of healthcare, minimizing errors, and reducing the costs and driving efficiency, that is through cost reduction strategies, local manufacturing initiatives, and the cross-sector collaboration. And then we have the networking opportunities and the sponsorship benefits and the sponsorship packages. As you can see, we have the diamond sponsor who is going to pay $10,000 to be at the summit. And then after that, we are going to have just a minute. The diamond sponsor is going to pay $10,000 to attend the summit, and the diamond sponsor is going to shape the conversation, deliver a keynote address on the main stage, establishing their brand as a thought leader in the industry. They're also going to showcase their expertise, host a dedicated breakout session to present their company's innovative solutions directly to the targeted audience. And they're also going to get the maximum brand exposure, premium networking, and comprehensive brand recognition. The second category is that one of the platinum sponsor, who is going to pay the $7,500, and they're going to deliver a compelling presentation at a breakout session, host a dedicated exhibitor booth in a prime location, and then prominent logo placement on our website for 1 year post-event, and their company profile is going to be included in our summit booklet. The third one is the gold sponsor, as you can see, and they're going to pay $5,000. The gold sponsors are going to present their expertise also at a breakout session, secure a standard exhibitor booth location, logo placement on our website, and recognition in the summit booklet as well. Then we have the silver sponsor. The silver sponsor is going to pay $3,000, and they're going to participate in a panel discussion and poster presentation, standard exhibitor booth space, logo placement on our website, standard exhibitor booth space, like I said, and then they're going to distribute branded marketing materials. The last level is the bronze sponsor, who is going to pay $1,000. And again, they're going to showcase their company logo on our website, and then recognition as sponsors in the event publications, and then of course the standard exhibitor booth space and complimentary registrations for 2 representatives. And if you have any questions regarding the summit and how you can get the sponsors or the sponsorship packages and the call for presenters, you can email us at info@actuate.bio, or you can go to our LinkedIn page. I'm sharing the link or you can contact any of us from the Actuate team and we can be of help to you. And lastly, I want to say that the summit will be happening in December from 3rd to 6th, and the venue is at Kenyatta University, and we are calling for partners, sponsors, speakers, and exhibitors. And the theme of the summit, again, is using blockchain, AI, that is artificial intelligence, and DeFi to improve health and human development. And with that being said, let us continue to source for sponsors and don't get stuck. In case you're getting stuck, you can always ask for help, because we want to make this summit a success, and each one of you is a useful resource to making this a success. Thank you very much, Frida and Daktari. Back to you, Frida.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Barbara, for stepping in and for that wonderful presentation. I would like to say that with this current situation in our country, I think we need to figure out solutions on how to maybe move forward. And I think this summit will help with that, and we'll get to find solutions. I saw a very interesting video of our president as he was meeting the IMF president, and he shook his hand and said, you're my, I work for you. So this issue goes beyond, the legislation, and as you've seen, they don't really care about us. So without much ado, Doc, if you have any additional comments, you can go ahead.
Well, thank you, Frida. Our president said that, I work for you. He told that to the president of IMF.
Yes.
Wow. He actually knows it. I thought that he wasn't aware of it, like he was unconscious. He's the puppet. That is serious stuff. Yeah, that is true. He works for them. And that's what this budget they're trying to pass in Kenya is, to collect money from our own people to go and take to the IMF. It's not like all that stuff is talking about development. It's a big lie. And it turns out that the Gen Z has figured it out. Now, for all of you Gen Zs, I'm not Gen Z myself. I'm many years post hoc about Gen Zs, but I am totally with you, what you're doing. And let me tell you a secret, if you do not know it already, but I'm sure you know. The answer to that question, that budget, is in decentralized finances, DeFi. So the reason why IMF is in control of us is because we use centralized finance. And IMF worked very hard to create centralization of money everywhere in the world. That is after independence. IMF was not there until 1950s. So just allow me to digress for 1 minute and explain to you how these budgetary problems come about. The budget that is on the table today is the Kenyan Parliament. Long time ago, before Kenya was Kenya, it was just a place where people lived. And then Europeans, in their usual selves, Europeans are just a bunch of thieves. They go to a place and they find a place like that and they call it no man's land. So Kenya was taken as no man's land, and they came and occupied it and formed a colony. It's not just Kenya. In 1893, there was a scrap of the entire African continent, because the human beings in Africa did not matter. Okay, so the reason they wanted to take African continent is because of its natural resources. The beauty of Africa just alone is so beautiful. The resources that are above ground, the resources that are on ground, and resources that are underground, all those resources, they want them for themselves. And they create wars and fights just to do that, so they can steal things from people. Let's just say it's a system of lootings and killings. So, and of course, they've been fighting this First World War, Second World War. And then they colonized us from 1800s, 1890s in the scrabble for Africa. So we got all colonized, okay? And we were made into companies. Kenya was a company known as British East African Limited, the British East African Protectorate Limited. So was Tanzania and Uganda. These were one company owned by the Queen of England, Queen Victoria. That's why we have Lake Victoria over there. So all those businesses we have in Kenya till today, they are still owned by England or the Queen or the royal family and the lords. Like we have Lord Delamere. You know, those lords are not there by accident. So when they came there, what they do? They planted coffee, tea, pyrethrum, sisal, cotton, everything. And they own those companies, those agricultural companies, tea companies, coffee companies. That is why Kenyans, although they produce the best quality coffee, the AAA Arabica coffee, they are not known for drinking coffee. Why? Because in 1948, that was a long time ago, before independence of Kenya, the Kenyan parliament, that time was the colonial parliament, sat down and created a law that prohibited Africans, which are called natives, from drinking coffee. That document is available for you. If you can Google it, Kenya Coffee Act of 1948. And that prohibits you from drinking coffee. Kenya only began drinking coffee in the city with the creation of Java House Coffee, just in case you didn't know that Kenyans are not allowed to drink coffee, okay? The same thing was for tea, but tea just leaves, but coffee was a premium product. Then things like pyrethrum, sisal, cotton, Kenya cotton. We used to be the best producers of cotton. But those cotton factories were not created by Kenyans. They were created by the colonists. So what happened at independence? At independence, we were told that we are going to get political independence. It was not real independence. It was a make-believe independence. So first of all, the owners of those companies, which was the British Empire and the Loyal Society of England, meaning the Queen and the kings and those people, they own those corporations for coffee, tea, pyrethrum, tourism, even Magadi soda. Magadi soda was owned by the Queen of England until recently. So, meaning salt, the salt that you use for cooking every day, is not even owned by Kenyans. So, what they decided, what they called independence, was selling the companies back to the natives. They said, we are going to leave these companies, but you're going to be paying us for giving you these companies forever and ever. I mean that it's called everlasting. It's in perpetuity. So in perpetuity. So how was that structured? This is the finance deal, how it was structured. You see, how are they going to be paying us in perpetuity? See, this is the House of the Lords in the UK. So what did they do? They formulated a plan. And this plan is to say that we are going to leave this country to the natives on condition that they owe us. They owe us these companies that we have built for them. How do they owe them? So Kenya was accredited to have borrowed $300 million to get back its country. So that was signed at the agreement. That $300 million is the money that we owe the Queen of England for giving us Kenya. Okay? So, or they say the British Empire, let's say the British Empire for giving us Kenya. So that we have, none of you have actually borrowed any money from the Queen, but already she has said that you owe me $300 million. Why? Because I made a country for you. You guys were just native Oompa Loompas, just going there hunting and gatherings, chasing antelopes. You build no country here, okay? So you owe me 300 million. So the first president was installed and he was told they might sign papers And they were told, how are you going to administer this? So they created, during that time, 1950s, they created the bank in United States to be managed in the US, because this is for the British Empire. This bank was known as International Bank of Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, okay, which was formed after 1945, Second World War, mainly to reconstruct Europe against that war, to reconstruct France from its beatings by Germany. You know, Hitler was very messy at that time. And so they created the IBRD. So this IBRD was for reconstructing Europe, but it was managed through the United States, okay, in Washington, D.C. And so what happens? IBRD gets out of business when Europe is reconstructed. And then IBRD is now given the job, the mandate to administer the loans that the African colonies are borrowing by becoming independent. Can you believe that? You becoming independent was borrowing a loan. So this is now applies to all the countries, including Nigeria, Uganda, Cameroon, whatever. They are all borrowing this money. But then there's one organization which is now going to manage those loans, and it's called IBRD in Washington, D.C. And I say DC's, Washington, D.C. So that IBRD became the World Bank. Become an international organization, which is the World Bank. And now, because it is Washington, D.C., it can be looking as if it has nothing to do with Europe, but it has everything to do with Europe. So the World Bank is, you could say, an economic organization for doing economic research, to gather information about how we're going to manage those loans and to write papers, you know, all these, to create advice. It's like an advisory organization. But the actual money work, you could say the accounting itself, was given to the International Monetary Fund. So that is what caused the emergence of the International Monetary Fund. So the International Monetary Fund, its job was to create currency or money, that's what's called monetary fund, to create currency that is going to represent that loan. So the fund itself, see, we're talking about International Monetary Fund. That fund, the 300 million loan by Kenya and other hundreds of millions by other countries, that fund itself was what? Was put in one basket, which they call the basket of funds. So every country in Kenya, every country in Africa now, post-colonial, has got a certain fraction of ownership in that fund, depending on their credit or the money they had borrowed by becoming independent. See that? So that money that we owed at independence 1963, we had to start paying it back on a continuous basis. And that money is administered by the IMF, International Monetary Fund. And that is why Mr. Ruto is telling that man, the president of IMF, that you are my boss. Because he knows that IMF is the boss of our big shots. So, and so in that basket of fund, so Kenya was given a quota to manage, to administer its own money through something called the Central Bank of Kenya. So the Central Bank of Kenya issues Kenya shilling at the behest of the IMF in Washington, D.C. And so before the Ministry of Finance and the Treasury can create a budget, the IMF has to give direction of what, because the IMF still insists that we owe it money. And that is the money that the natives have to be taxed to pay back the loan that we owe to IMF. That loan is perpetual, it's permanent, it will never end. And this is why Ruto, our president, is under extreme pressure. You saw that last week on Tuesday. He's under extreme pressure to pass that budget, because if he doesn't do it, he'll be committing a sin to the owner of the country. And if you looked carefully at the Kenyan parliament on Tuesday, there was a whole bunch of foreigners sitting there watching how the Kenyan parliamentarians are going to behave and this means that we do not own the country is owned by somebody else. Ruto, I think maybe, I don't know whether he knew this before he went to compete to become president, but now he is there. He's in the middle, right in the middle of it. Of course, he can resist that and say, stop this nonsense, people. But then, instead of resisting, he is showing those people how much he loves them. So, of course, last month he was here in Washington, D.C., and of course, then he had also gone to Europe to talk to the Europeans. I'm telling you, the European Union, he was in Switzerland the other day. Those people have no interest in the natives of Kenya. You see what they call natives. They have no interest in the people in the country. They would, if you ask them today that if what should Kenyan police have done on Tuesday, you should have shot those guys. Why are they fighting? Because they think, to them in their head, in their crazy head, they think that as Kenyans or citizens of African nations, they owe them money. They believe that. Can you believe how crazy that is? Just because, first of all, they came there in the 1800s and they said that nobody lives here. They said this is no man's land. Then they planted coffee, tea, pyrethrum, everything. And because of that, then they formed those companies in the scrabble for Africa. So they divided those up and they decide now they have created them. And they say, if you are to leave, they are going to be owing us money in perpetuity forever and ever and ever. And they shall be paying us. They shall be paying us for that favor, for having colonized them. And that's the way. And now they're going to be paying us. We are going to create the International Monetary Fund. It's going to create a central bank. We are going to be in full control of their ministries of finance. So you could almost say that the Minister of Finance, the Treasury, the central bank, you could say their hands are tied. And that is why, no matter what people said, they had to pass that budget. But that can only survive if people don't know what's going on. You can see now in the decentralized, the Gen Z has known everything about decentralization, except decentralized finance. Okay, the decentralized finance. So what you saw, that organizing of the Gen Zs in Kenya is a testimony to the power of decentralization or the information system. When IMF was doing this, when they say the World Bank was doing this, there was no information system, or information was only available to the inner. You could say the people who were in the House of the Lords, let's say. Now we have no lords. In the whole thing, information is free. It is decentralized. And so the Gen Zs are very, very aware of this. Why is the Gen Z aware of this? Because Gen Z was born in the information. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, before you guys came around, there was no information. For example, in Kenya, there was only one broadcasting station known as Voice of Kenya, with Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. So Voice of Kenya was owned, controlled by the government. Voice of Kenya was created by the Queen of England, by herself. So she owned it. And so all the people knew in the whole country came through the VOK. This is not the same thing with when they were creating this stuff. It's not VOK anymore. We have got what? We have got TikTok. TikTok is not VOK, it's TOK. TIK, TIK, TOK. So that is what has happened. The revolution from VOK to TIK and TOK, TikTok. And that is what is really, even the IMF itself has not brought to its own consciousness that we are not in 1963 when we are there creating these draconian systems to enslave people in perpetuity forever and ever and ever and ever. Now, what to do next? Because we have TikTok, which is totally decentralized. We have the Twitter, we have the YouTube, everything. We don't have to worry about those people anymore. The IMF has become an irrelevant organization. And it is made irrelevant by the information system itself. They don't have control of it. They're in complete panic. I can tell you, it is not, they know they don't have any power anymore over what they were doing before. And they cannot kill all those people. Because what they used to do before is threaten people with bombs and killings. They can't do that anymore. Because even the people they use for killing, because they don't send their own children to go and kill other children, they are going to send children of other people. Those children of other people now have information also. So they used to recruit, mobilize a lot of children from, they call them infantry division. You've heard of infantry divisions. That means young people being sent to get killed. Okay, now that is over because the young people know that their life is so much more useful when they are fully alive than when they are killed in a useless war. And so that's what's going to happen. And the young people, as you saw in the demonstrations last week, they can demonstrate, they can go peacefully without burning tires or breaking windows or even looting. It is not necessary to do all those things. So the politicians, they would like to create criminals by making people go and loot. There's no looting, there's no breaking, there's no nothing. It is just resistance. And that is a revolution that is very, very difficult to deal with. And so IMF itself does not have access to every single human the way they had access in a centralized system. Now, you could say the power is in your hands. Instead of International Monetary Fund today controlling the finance in a centralized finance system, then we are talking about decentralized finance. Now, this meeting today, what you're talking, the blockchain itself, the blockchain itself is a tool that makes that possible. As the young people in Kenya, the Gen Zs, have managed to use the tools of decentralization information in the web too. Now it's now the next, challenge for them to learn the tool for ultimate decentralization, which is Web3. The Web3 is the Internet of Value. It's a tool for ultimate decentralization. And you can see that between now and December, you're all going to understand what this is all about, the tool for ultimate decentralization. As I said earlier, the ultimate decentralization, decentralizing value, that is managing to produce your own value, which is called the economic sense. And if you can produce value for yourself, you can produce your own health. So there will be no centralized health anymore after this. And this revolution is happening in the middle of the year. It's just amazing and how well it aligns with our summit at the end of the year. It's now the revolution to how we, as natives, as called citizens of the country, native, I think, was a derogatory term being used by all this, but natives is being born. So we, as the natives of the country, we don't have to be paying people because they colonized us, because they want to live their cushy lives there, and then we are doing all the work. And the only way we get there is to hop from the centralized finance into the decentralized finance. Let's get hopping from the VOK to the TOK, just to say. Decentralized information, decentralized communication from Voice of Kenya to say YouTube, Twitter, decentralized information system. But there's one other step of decentralization that we need to understand, which is decentralized finance. Okay, decentralized finance. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the power right there, which is within your hands. Because when each and everyone has got a wallet, it's a blockchain level wallet. The IMF can be speaking until it gets hoarse or dies, but it doesn't matter what the IMF says. Because the IMF can never be the president of your crypto wallet. Okay? It has tried, but it can't. And it knows that. Because the people at the IMF did not make crypto wallets. You are the ones who have it. Well, that's what I would like to add about that, to tie it together with the revolution. And as you see, what the blockchain is about is this silent revolution, which is just like the demos you had in Nairobi, people, communicating on the information system, coordinating. So the blockchain helps us to coordinate finance in a decentralized way, decentralized finance, decentralized coordination, which doesn't have a leader. You can see in this now, just maybe today or yesterday, the old guard politicians are trying to blame one person is the one who is organizing all that. I heard from some of those streaming YouTube videos, people saying that it is Azimio and the leader of Azimio, Raila Odinga. They're trying to blame him for coordinating all this. They have no clue. This has nothing to do with Mr. Raila himself or even Azimio. It has something to do with every single individual. It's called human action. It is totally decentralized. And so next thing is the next step, decentralized information, decentralized coordination. Now we go to decentralized finance. And I can tell you why this is necessary. Trying to fight a centralized budget or budget created with the centralized principles, it is the wrong fight. It's not even necessary when you have decentralized finance. So the true fight is to understand how to use the decentralized finance because it aligns with the decentralized ethos of the Gen Z. Okay, back to you, Frida.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doc, for those comments. I can say we're almost out of time. So maybe, Grace, you can go ahead and make a quick presentation on what's new on the Actuate website. Hello, Grace. Grace, can you hear me? Grace Njeri. Okay.
Hello. Can you hear me, Frida?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Grace Njeri, and I'm the web developer. And very quick, I'll be showing you the update on our website. I'll be sharing my screen in a second. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen now. So this is our website, Actuate.bio. And this week, I have some good news that we have added the speakers list in our website. And so when you go to the website, you just come to the Nairobi Summit page. And here we have the speakers list, and you just click it and you'll be able to see the speakers that we have so far for the summit. As we have talked about the summit, it is going to be a great summit. As you can see, we have a lot of speakers here. The first section are the speakers who have already submitted their abstract. Yeah, these ones here. And this other section is the speakers who we are still waiting for their confirmation. That is by sending their abstract, but they have already confirmed that they are going to speak in the summit. Yeah, so you can go through them at your own time and also see their LinkedIn profiles. And I believe it will be very motivating because these are great people with a lot of experience, and yeah, we have a lot of hope because of them. So thank you. That is it from me. Back to you, Frida. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Grace, for that. As you can see, very wonderful things are happening, and we have a lot of people who want to come and speak to our summit. So do not be left out. If you want to come and make a presentation, feel free to submit your abstract. And as I've said, there are very many opportunities that very many benefits that you'll get from coming to our summit. And as we said, for the sponsorships, if you get a sponsor, you could be able to come to the summit free of charge, and also you'll be able to earn a certain percentage of the sponsorship money. So I think I'll post the form to the chat box, the attendance form. Feel free to fill it. And then something else I want to say is that we have a book. It's called Healthcare on Blockchain, and you can check it out. It's on lulu.com. You search Healthcare on Blockchain by Masharia Warenge, and you can tell your friends to check it out and also buy the book. So thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for joining us today. Have a lovely weekend, and feel free to fill the form. And the meeting is adjourned.
Okay, maybe Frida, you can send them the link to the book. Also, Healthcare Blockchain. And so I think I can say one, two things. First of all, it's important. You guys, you all need to buy that book so that you can be up to speed. This book is about the Actuate itself. And the book details the Actuate faucets, sinks, and partnerships for Actuate. It's about 300 pages of all that. So it's a very good workbook for you to know what's going on. And it has a lot of material that we use, but it's a workbook, let's say that. So buy the book so that you are up in the know. Yeah, and then of course, I think by the time you're coming to the summit, we shall produce another book, which is more. It's not a workbook, but talking about the theoretical foundations. The book that is Actuate Healthcare on the Blockchain is not a theoretical book. It's about the faucets and the sinks and the partnerships themselves, and we continue to build partnership. And what Grace has showed us on is that, first of all, the people who have agreed to come and speak, and those people, they come from different categories. Those people have actually submitted their abstract, so they have locked their position. As I said, to make the summit successful, we just need 64 speakers, not even 100, 64. And besides there's those ones who have submitted abstract, but the others who have said they are going to come to the summit, but they have not submitted. And that's the second list that Grace was showing. If you count all those people, there are more than 30 people. Meaning that it's already taken, half of it is gone, okay? But now it doesn't mean that we cannot make room for you. So you see, the minimum numbers needed is 64. That's minimum numbers needed. What I'm saying is that half of the minimum numbers needed to produce a good summit is already taken, meaning that the summit is halfway successful, just like with the half section of the year. Okay, so the summit is already halfway successful. So this tells you that the rest, then in the next 1 week or so, the minimum numbers needed will be met already. because I can tell you this is the work of very hard-working team that is in the Actuate Foundation, Actuate team. First of all, congratulations all the Actuate team members for doing that hard work, making that possible. So all the people in Actuate Nation, I just wanted to let you know that the work is going on very, very well and going on at a very, very high speed. Okay, so we have reached already 50% of the minimum numbers needed. So the next is 50%, which is going to go with another one week or so. And so by the end of this month, which is only 1 week remaining, we should have the total percentage of the minimum numbers needed. Then everyone else who comes up to that is a bonus. Bonus meaning we could actually succeed with 64 people, but we're going to become even better with 100, even better with 500, and even better with 1,000. Okay? Yeah. So I'm talking about speakers. So how do we make that happen? Yeah, you shall see. And so maybe let me stop talking because I can speak about this for the whole day and whole night. But thank you so much, everyone, for all the wonderful job you guys are doing. It's amazing. And I think it's just the power of the Gen Z itself that is showing through, shining through. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Doc. And I think this will also not be possible without the Actuate Nation. So thank you very much for supporting us and continue to do so. I hope that you've all filled the form, and you can be able to. I've also posted the link to the book, so you can check it out.
No, tell them to buy 100 copies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and give Mr. Ruto so he can be reading in for bedtimes, because right now he's in complete panic, he's shaking. And for bedtime stories for Mr. RU2A. Okay, all right, guys, you have a good one.
Okay. You too.
Okay.
Those who are still filling the form, remember that we are nearing the end of the month, and very soon we shall be allocating Actuate tokens. But I said you will only be eligible to earn those Actuate tokens if you have signed up as a member of the Actuate Nation. So remember to fill the membership form. It's compulsory. Yes.
Right. No, thank you, Juan.
All right. So have a lovely weekend, everyone, and see you on Monday.